Good morning, everyone. Welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep. My name is Alpa Sharma, and this is our daily Hindu editorial analysis. Good morning, everyone. If I'm clearly visible and audible, just send me a thumbs up. Hi, Preeti, Ahna, Karthik, Falguni. I hope you can see and hear me clearly. Yes, in the app as well. Good morning. Good morning, Arshita, Shivangi. Good to go? Clearly visible and audible? Good morning, everyone. Yes. Okay. So today, 7th of December. And what are we going to do today? We are going to be taking two articles. One is from the Hindu. The other article is from the Indian Express. Both were there in yesterday's newspaper. So we're going to discuss that in detail. I'll also be sharing today's newspaper's roundup. So unlike yesterday where we had missed out on it, we're going to be doing the roundup from today's newspaper, and I'll be telling you the important articles that you should be reading from both the newspapers. Good morning, Lakshmi and Ashita. And Ganesha as well. I hope I'm clearly visible and audible in the app as well. So this is what we're going to do. But before we start with our session, quickly, if you're targeting CLAT 2023, we have a new batch, batch 6, that we've recently launched. I'm going to be teaching in this batch as well. The classes have already started. You have precisely a year left to prepare. जल्दी से enroll कर लो क्योंकि time आपके पास बहुत 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 कम बचा है. Ma'am, I want to ask you some paradox questions. So, Karthik and everyone else who wishes to get in touch with me with some questions and all, though I'll be really honest, I have been a little preoccupied for the last 2-3 days, and I will be occupied during this week, okay? Because I'm planning something new for you. But you can get in touch with me on my Telegram channel, which I'm going to share with you by the end of the class. I'll share the name with you. You could send me doubts. I assure you, next week onwards, I'll be more available on the Telegram group, and I'll be addressing all your doubts there, okay? All right. So 2023 टारगेट कर रहे हो, जल्दी से एनरोल कर लो बैच. आपके पास टाइम नहीं है बहुत ज़्यादा इसके लिए. और अगर आप MHCET, SLAT, BLAT, जामिया ये टारगेट कर रहे हो, आज मेरी इस बैच में फर्स्ट क्लास है. I'll be starting with grammar in this batch. तो अगर ये एग्जाम्स आपका टारगेट है तो आज क्लास से पहले एनरोल कर लो, so that you be live with the class on time. You don't miss out on it. अगर आप 2022 टारगेट कर रहे हो, 2 बैचेस हैं. एक बाइलिंगुअल है और दूसरा बैच है बैच इन इंग्लिश. दिस इज द बैच इन इंग्लिश. आई विल बी टीचिंग यू इन द बैच दैट्स इन इंग्लिश. सो जो भी आपका कंफर्टेबल मोड ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन है उसके लिए जल्दी से एनरोल कर लो और फिर क्लास में मिलते हैं आपसे, ठीक है? ओके मैम, आ गया बच्चे, बिल्कुल आ गया है. आशीष, आई थिंक आपको मिला नहीं है अभी तक. एक बार जल्दी से गेट योर हैंड्स ऑन दैट. क्या करेंगे क्लास में? कोट ऑफ द डे लेंगे. आप दोगे मुझे. वन वर्ड सब्स्टिट्यूशन आज नहीं करेंगे फॉर सम रीजन. आज रिविजन नहीं करेंगे क्योंकि कल वोकैबुलरी बहुत कम थी, सो आई कुड नॉट क्रिएट 3 क्वेश्चंस आउट ऑफ इट. 2 आर्टिकल्स लेंगे, उसका डिटेल डिस्कशन करेंगे. उसमें से जितनी वोकैबुलरी है, फ्रेजल वर्ब्स है, इडियम्स है, वो याद करने का ट्राई करेंगे. इन दी एंड आप मुझे टोन ऑफ द ऑथर बताएंगे, और टोन ऑफ द ऑथर बताने के बाद आप मेरे वीडियो के नीचे समरी लिखेंगे. रिमेंबर, जब समरी लिखते हो तो क्लास के एंड में वीडियो के नीचे जाके कमेंट सेक्शन में लिखना है, नॉट मोर देन 1 लाइन फॉर ईच आर्टिकल. और क्लास के एंड में यू विल लुक एट द न्यूज़पेपर फ्रॉम टुडेज द हिंदू एंड इंडियन एक्सप्रेस, एंड विल ट्राई टू हैव अ राउंड अप ऑफ द इंपॉर्टेंट articles that you need to be reading and the articles that you can skip. All right. So, all right. Any more questions? Good morning, everyone who's just now joined me. ठीक है, good to go. कौन देगा quote of the day? ऐप पे स्लो चलता है क्या? No, I can see all the chats in the app simultaneously. Okay, so Alok, yes, I saw your chat. Quote कौन लेके आया आज? Quote कौन देगा? I find that the harder I work, the more luck I seem to have. बिल्कुल सही है. देखो, कभी कभी ना ऐसा लगता है कि लक हमारे फेवर में नहीं है, एंड वी आर एक्चुअली अनेबल टू बी बेनिफिटेड फ्रॉम बीइंग लकी. बट लक कितना आपको फेवर कर लेगा? पता है मुझसे कई लोग क्वेश्चंस पूछते हैं कि मैम मैं ऐसा कौन सा ऑप्शन मार्क करूं जो तुक्के में भी सही आंसर दे मुझे। ए मार्क करूं तो ज्यादा प्रोबेबिलिटी होती है करेक्ट आंसर की, या बी मार्क करूं तो ज्यादा प्रोबेबिलिटी होती है। आपको लगता है मैं आंसर करूंगी इस क्वेश्चन का? लक आपका हार्डवर्क ही डिटरमाइन करेगा। आपको इतनी हार्डवर्क करने की जरूरत होनी चाहिए कि आपको मुझसे ये क्वेश्चन नहीं पूछना पड़े कि मैम तुक्के में कौन सा ऑप्शन लगाए कि करेक्ट आंसर उससे आ जाए। गॉट माई पॉइंट? सो द मोर हार्ड यू वर्क, द luckier you're going to get with time. And yes, Mari, you're absolutely right. Challenges are what makes life interesting. If there are no challenges, life is going to be so boring, right? Okay, so let's move ahead. ये आज नहीं करेंगे. Let's start with the vocabulary from today's articles, okay? All right, here we go. The first one, clamor. Clamor, example, examples, I think all of you will be able to understand this. When a poor beggar is very, very hungry and he needs food, the reaction that he would give for begging for food would be clamor. Pleading, crying, shouting, that reaction is clamor. Okay? So, it would be, just a second, it would be shouting loudly and insistently when you are insisting something, pleading for something, that is clamor. The surging crowds clamored for attention. They pleaded for attention. Okay? All right. Next one. Screaming. Yes, Pallavi. It's a related word. All right. Next one is prudent. We've done this word multiple times in the past. You should be able to guess the meaning of it. Being careful, wise, cautiously taking decisions, aware of your surrounding is prudent. So the prudent money manager would authorize a loan without first knowing its purpose. So this money manager is considered as a prudent one because he is careful, he is wise, he would analyze things and only then pass a loan. Okay, so that's prudent. Vulnerable. Can I say, with the Omicron cases rising, the most vulnerable are people with comorbidities? Can I say that? Yes? Judicious? Yes. Yes, taciturn, you can say that. Judicious is prudent. Absolutely correct. Gulshan, I am going to take one. Okay? Sagacious, yes, you can say that. Aradhya, yes, you can absolutely say that. Okay, so more prone, more affected very easily, more prone to be affected is malice. Roman malice, I don't think एक word यहाँ suitable है. No, I don't think so. ठीक है? Susceptible is vulnerable. Absolutely correct. Susceptible. Next, uptake. हमने word को break किया था. Yes? Up and take. To take up something, to take up a responsibility or maybe a task is uptake. So the action of taking up or making use of something that is available for you is uptake. The uptake of free school meals was sanctioned recently. They took up the idea of giving free meals to the kids in the school. That's uptake. Pandemonium is clamor. Pandemonium का reaction clamor हो सकता है. Okay? Pandemonium is not a synonym to clamor. The reaction that comes out of being in a pandemonium could be clamor. Okay? Got this? Uptake could be consumption. Yes, Pallavi, you can say that. Samriddhi, careful for prudent. Yes, you can say that as well. I hope you've taken a screenshot, everyone, of this slide. This is slide number 1. I'm going to move to slide number 2, everyone, now. Burgeoning. Burgeoning, a start of increment. So, उस position से धीरे धीरे अब increment हो रहा है. That is burgeoning. The beginning to grow or increase rapidly is burgeoning. Flourishing could be a synonym to burgeoning. So, manufacturers are keen to cash in on the burgeoning demand. Manufacturers, because the demand is increasing, they are increasing the production as well. That's burgeoning here in this example. Okay. Conservative for prudent. No, 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 no. I disagree. Conservative for prudent is not a synonym. Okay? Vulnerable फिर से समझा मुस्कान. Vulnerable होता है. अच्छा, बच्चे होते हैं, छोटे छोटे बच्चे, 5th 6th के, ऑनलाइन क्लासेस होती है, ठीक है. उनको पेरेंट्स को इंटरनेट कनेक्शन भी देना पड़ता है. पेरेंट्स उनको टैब्स, लैपटॉप्स भी देते हैं. बट वो सबसे ज्यादा वल्नरेबल होते हैं ऑनलाइन वायलेंस और बुलिंग के, क्योंकि वो बहुत छोटे हैं, बहुत सीधे हैं, बहुत नाइव है, उनको इजीली टारगेट किया जा सकता है. ठीक है. सो वल्नरेबल वो होता है जिसको इजीली टारगेट किया जा सके, क्योंकि वो ससेप्टिबल है. दैट्स वल्नरेबल. ओके, ऑल राइट. More likely to be in danger. Yes, Trasik, you can say that. Oh, Trasik, good to see you here. All right. So the next one, provenance. Providence, alag. Provenance, alag. So the beginning of the origin, the starting is provenance. All right. They try to understand the whole universe, its provenance and fate. Universe का origin. Origin समझना है, वो उसका provenance हुआ. Okay, Achilles heel is similar to vulnerable? Absolutely yes, it is. All of you are correct. Yes, Abhinav. Achilles heel is a synonym to vulnerable. Burgeoning ko Archita says spike, shoot up, snowball, proliferate, extravagant. Extravagant related है, but बाकी आपने जितने words बताए हैं, all of them are synonyms to it. Absolutely correct. Okay, you can say budding as well. Yes, Falguni, yes, it is. कल क्लास थी, बिल्कुल थी बच्चे, 10 बजे थी, और अब इस पूरे वीक 10 बजे ही होगी क्लासेस. नेक्स्ट वर्ड, germane. Germane, pertaining to something is germane. Okay, so that is not germane to our theme, that is not pertaining to our theme or related. Related or pertaining is germane. आ गया सबको ये समझ में? Bani says elevators, ramps, sayings, arrows and windows revealing the burgeoning day. Yeah, you can say that. Okay, next one, incumbent. So incumbent is something that is needed, that is necessary, that is important, is incumbent. The government realized that it was incumbent for them to act. It was needed, it was necessary, it was important. That is incumbent. Okay, so germane, peculiar, yes, you can say that. Trasik. Apart from that, Bani says appropriate. Yes, you can say that as well. Absolutely, appropriate as well. Very good. Ganesh says duty. Yes, correct for incumbent. Yes, duty. Obligation is similar to incumbent. It is. It can be obligation, it can be duty, both of it. Slide number 2, you have taken a screenshot of this. I'll move to the next slide now. Stipulate, specify is stipulate. So demand or specify typically as a part of an agreement. आपने clarify कर दिया, आपने specify कर दिया, that is stipulating. He stipulated certain conditions before their marriage. He said, okay, these are my conditions which you'll have to fulfill before you or I get married to you. That is stipulation. Okay, all right. Honest, yes. Pivotal, yes. बिल्कुल correct, बिल्कुल बोल सकते हो. दोनों words correct हैं. दोनों ही words correct हैं. Okay. Requisite भी बोल सकते हो बानी. Absolutely. Okay. Next, consent. Okay, I don't have to explain this to you. किसी को चाहिए consent का meaning? सबको पता है ना consent का meaning? Agreement, approval is consent. So जैसे आप contract sign करते हो, right? Consent is an important part for that. All right. So ये legal इसका implication you would know better than I would. I'll not explain this word to you. Okay, you could just take a screenshot of this. No change may be made without the consent of all the partners. Every partner needs to agree if the terms and conditions of a contract need to be changed. उन सबका agreement जरूरी है, उन सबका consent जरूरी है. Yeah. Okay. Last one, inclusive. you guys already know inclusive is my favorite word. You know this. All of those people who've been coming to my classes for all these years, all these months, you would know inclusive is my favorite word, because I am a torch bearer of inclusivity. ये सबको पता है. Inclusive होता है सबको साथ में लेके चलना, सबको include करना. Minorities, majorities, different genders, sexual orientation, your choices in life, government making policies. Inclusive is सबको साथ लेके चलना, irrespective of your gender, of your choice, of your caste, of your religion. Good to go? Okay. So, all right, burgeoning का फिर से चाहिए meaning. Okay, I'll explain this again to you. Let me show you. Yes, with everything included is inclusive. Let's just go back to burgeoning. Now, look at this. Burgeoning, can I say when okay, look at this example. When the demand for a product increases in the market, the pen, okay, the demand is increasing. My production will also increase rapidly with this. That rapid increase in the production could be an example of burgeoning. Rapid increment after the start is burgeoning. I hope you get this. Yes? Soumya, stick with me by the end of the class. Yes, I'm here. Don't worry, I'm here. Stick with me till the end of the class. चलो जल्दी से आगे बढ़ते हैं, इसको finish करते हैं. Okay. Omicron, मेरे सिटी में तो 8 cases already आ गए हैं. Now new variants are coming in. New variants आ रहे तो booster dose का requirement तो आ रहा है. But India is in a fix. Now why is India in a fix? India is in a fix because we are still struggling with vaccinating our whole population with the 2 doses of either Covaxin or Covishield. If we are yet struggling with vaccinating our entire population with Covaxin or Covishield, does the question of an additional booster dose arise? There are 2 aspects to it. Both the aspects are discussed in detail in the passage. We have to understand both the aspects. Aspect of yes, needing a booster dose, and 2, not needing a booster dose as well. So let's understand this. Okay, so on November 22, the Director General ICMR said that there was no scientific evidence thus so far to administer a booster dose. No scientific evidence to administer a booster vaccine dose to fully vaccinated people. So हमारे हेड ने बोला कि ऑलरेडी जिनको वैक्सीनेशन लग गई है उनको बूस्टर डोज की कोई नीड नहीं है. वी डोंट नीड टू पुट देम ऑन बूस्टर डोज बिकॉज द एग्जिस्टिंग वैक्सीनेशन इज इनफ to make them fight against the new variant of Omicron virus. The priority instead was to increase the percentage of people who are vaccinated with the 2 doses. So he said instead of working on the booster dose idea, why don't we focus on vaccinating the people right now with the 2 doses of either Covaxin or Covishield or Sputnik that we have. The health minister too said that the priority was on fully vaccinating all adults than on booster shot immunization through adequate vaccines were available. So he said adequate vaccine है हमारे कंट्री में, हम धीरे धीरे करके सबको वैक्सीनेट कर लेंगे. सो फोकस होना चाहिए उन लोगों को वैक्सीनेट करना जिनको 2 डोज नहीं लगी है, बूस्टर की नीड नहीं है हमको. सो इन दोनों मिनिस्टर्स ने ये बोला. ओके, क्या हो गया? Oh. What happened? What happened? No lag. Okay, yes, no lag. All right. ठीक है. Yes, this is from the Hindu. Even when there was growing clamor from the few states for booster doses. So states they were shouting, they were pleading कि हमको booster doses दे दो. There was a lot of clamor from the new states for booster doses. Once the new variant with higher transmissibility causing a huge surge in the cases in South Africa became known, that is Omicron. South Africa से higher transmissibility का cases बाहर आए, and the government has reiterated that any decision on booster doses will be based solely on scientific recommendation. So the last few lines says that जैसे ही हमारे पास में news आई that there's a new variant called Omicron, everybody got scared and said no, we need booster doses. And the response to it from our ministers were everything depends on the scientific viability of the booster doses. You know, USA is ready with its booster doses. It has already started vaccinating its population with the booster doses. So, of course, it's normal for us to believe that we also need booster doses. But our health minister says, no, it completely depends on the scientific evidence and viability of it, that if at all it is needed or not. Maybe our vaccination are strong enough to protect us. Okay? Yeah, here. All the over 65 million people in the US are unvaccinated. अब देखो US का situation अलग है. They say 65 million people are unvaccinated, but yet they're monitoring booster doses on those people who are ready to be vaccinated. US में आपको पता है, a lot of people are against getting themselves vaccinated. So 65 million people, आप देख रहे हो, they are against getting themselves vaccinated. On October 21, a booster shot was approved. पहले approve किया 65 plus के लिए. अब सब एलिजिबल लोगों के लिए, ऑल एडल्ट्स के लिए अप्रूव कर दिया है बूस्टर डोज. माय सिस्टर इज इन यूएस, शी आल्सो गॉट हर बूस्टर डोज रिसेंटली. It was later expanded to include all adults. Many countries in Europe too have approved booster shots, having based their decision at least partially on vaccine effectiveness data. तो उनके पास डेटा बहुत ज्यादा नहीं था कि ये वैक्सीनेशन कितनी इफेक्टिव होगी, but then something is better than nothing. With the whole scare that Delta variant has created, everybody wants to be vaccinated at the earliest. Booster मिल रहा तो booster भी लगवा लो, जो मिल रहा है वो लगवा लो. What is the basic difference between regular jabs and booster dose? So, हम है वैक्सीनेशन, तो अभिषेक यू रिमेंबर इट. हमको वैक्सीनेशन नहीं चाहिए, हम है वैक्सीनेशन. हम वैक्सीनेशन नहीं लगाएंगे. The regular jabs and the booster doses are basically, regular jabs are created as per the एग्जिस्टिंग वेरिएंट्स. ठीक है, तो जब तक डेल्टा वेरिएंट नहीं आया था उसके पहले वो डोजेस बन गए थे, तो उनका जो जीनोम सीक्वेंसिंग था वो डिपेंड करता था उस टाइम के प्रेजेंस ऑफ वेरिएंट्स के साथ. अब वायरस भी म्यूटेट हो रहा है तो उनके वेरिएंट्स भी बढ़ रहे हैं. तो जो पुरानी जो दो डोजेस थी, क्या वो इतनी इफेक्टिव है टू फाइट अगेंस्ट द न्यू वेरिएंट्स? इफ दे आर नॉट, अ बूस्टर डोज विल बी एडेड into your body to make you immune against the new variants as well. Okay? All right. So, one study found Covishield to be 85% protective against moderate or severe diseases and 63% protective against symptomatic infection. So, the data says our Covishield is good enough. Possibly we don't need the booster dose. Both studies were undertaken during the peak of the Delta variant driven second wave. And the data comes out that this vaccination is almost 85% effective against the doses. But it can have side effects also. हाँ, बिल्कुल है, इनके side effect हो सकते हैं. The effectiveness of both vaccine against the Omicron variant is unknown. और जब तक हमको उसकी इफेक्टिवनेस नहीं पता लगेगी, हम कैसे वैक्सीनेट कर सकते हैं सबको? सो जो हमारे मिनिस्टर्स का स्टेटमेंट है दैट वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू एडमिनिस्टर बूस्टर डोजेस अंटिल दिस साइंटिफिक स्टडी इज वैलिड इनफ, क्योंकि हमें पता ही नहीं उसकी इफेक्टिवनेस कितनी है. ओके, while this variant appears to be far more transmissible than the Delta variant, disease severity than the age groups most vulnerable to disease are not fully known. So we know it transmits quicker than the Delta variant, but how severe it is, we still do not know. That we do not have enough data. Delta was very severe. You and I know this for sure. How severe is the Omicron variant? We don't know this. Despite these uncertainties of transmissibility and severity of the Omicron variant, despite these, it might still be prudent to approve booster doses for people older than 60 years. So, अब author कह रहा है ये wise होगा अगर आप approve कर दो ये doses तो 60 plus के लिए. Could you think of a reason why is he doing that without reading the article? Could you think of a reason why is he saying this? Why is he promoting it and going against the ministers of our country and saying, okay, no, we need to administer the booster doses for 60 plus people? Why? Anyone? What happened? booster doses will expedite vaccination? No, they wouldn't. Expediting of vaccination depends on the people who are vaccinating you. They are more vulnerable. Of course they are. They are more vulnerable. They can fall sick quicker. More severity can be seen in their cases, and that is exactly why unka immunity weak hoga. Comorbidities, yes. So, but administering booster doses cannot be at the cost of increased coverage of the first dose and full vaccination. Author लेकिन फिर भी आपको यहाँ specify कर रहा है, warning दे रहा है कि आप booster doses दो, but you can't do it at the cost of not vaccinating the remaining population. 2 doses तो compulsory है ही. Addition is booster. So booster करने के चक्कर में आप अपने basic 2 doses को कम कर दोगे. That is unacceptable here. Also, the need to begin immunizing adolescents cannot be ignored. So आप लोगों को भी vaccination लगना उतना ही जरूरी है, right? Vaccination नहीं लगेगा तो हम पीछे रह जाएंगे. Over 1.26 billion doses have been, ये data हम miss कर रहे हैं, ये हम नहीं पढ़ेंगे. There is still a sizable percentage of the population in the priority groups who are not fully vaccinated. A lot of you aren't. तो author कह रहा है उनको पहले vaccinate करो, उसके बाद booster की बात करना. Over 8% of healthcare workers, 30% of these above 60 years, and over 33% people aged 45 to 59 are yet to be fully vaccinated. अब आप देखो अगर 8% of the healthcare workers भी अभी तक हम vaccinate नहीं कर पाए हैं, that means we are lagging behind here. Thus, उनका vaccination priority है. COVID हो जाएगा. Whole day at home. Okay. Yes. Children and teenagers. The rapid global spread of the Omicron variant might also lead to increased vaccine uptake. हाँ, ये भी हो सकता है. देखो जो लोग डर रहे थे ना कि हम वैक्सीनेशन है, वो लोग भी अब ओमिक्रॉन के स्प्रेड से जाके वैक्सीनेशन लगवाएंगे. ये हो सकता है, लेकिन ये भी हो सकता है वो बोलेंगे जब हमारा डेल्टा कुछ नहीं कर पाया तो ओमिक्रॉन क्या करेगा हमारा, हम वैक्सीनेशन नहीं लगवाएंगे. How many of you are of those point of view that you are vaccination, you will not get vaccinated? While a sufficient supply of Covishield with accounts for nearly 90% vaccine administered, yes, Covaxin की जगह maximum हमारी Covishield की ही vaccinations हैं, might be able to meet the demand, the priority should be to increase vaccine coverage and not boosters. So he says, yes, booster is important, but not at the cost of not getting people vaccinated. Getting them both the doses are the priority, particularly so that India will be under pressure to supply vaccine to the global south. अच्छा, ये point हमने ये भी नहीं देखा. इंडिया को एक मॉरल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, altruism है, that India has to supply vaccination to poorer countries, poorer than India, in the down south of the world. So अपनी कंट्री को हम वैक्सीनेट करने के साथ साथ बाकी कंट्रीज को भी करते हैं, और वो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी फुलफिल करना जरूरी है अपार्ट फ्रॉम वर्किंग ऑन द बूस्टर डोज. ओके, ऑल राइट. ओके, टोन ऑफ द ऑथर, एवरीवन. What do you think is the tone? Abhinav says concerning and analytical. दो बार कोविड हो चुका है सौम्या. Please be very careful. Analytical, suggestive, informative. Okay, others? Suggestive, concerning. It's mostly analytical. It mostly analyzes the fact that do we need booster doses or not. The idea is to analyze that. Okay, I think I'll go with analytical. Okay. Oh yes, India is in a lot better state for vaccinating its population. Okay. All right. Now, before we start this, so India may, not India, throughout the world. Now, I hope everyone's clear with the idea. ठीक है, अब आर्टिकल का जिस समझो. ओके, एंड आई डोंट वांट एनी वन ऑफ यू टू गिव योर ओपिनियन हियर. ठीक है, दिस इज नॉट नीडेड. नाउ थ्रू आउट द वर्ल्ड people marrying and having children, the idea is changing. The fertility rate also is falling down a lot. With the fertility rate falling down, there are treatments that are available which one can adopt to have a child artificially. Now, it could be through surrogacy, through artificial insemination, through multiple other IVFs and multiple other methodologies because of the fertility rate going down, or possibly single parents wanting to have biological children. With this increment in the world, we see the increment in clinics that provide these treatments. Okay. Now, the clinics are increasing. So, of course, there is a need for a law that regulates the whole procedure of artificially giving birth to a child, right? And that is why a new bill has been passed here. So, we are going to be discussing this article about this new bill and the author's viewpoints from both the perspective, why it's needed and what are the drawbacks in the bill. We'll be discussing about that, okay? So, Assisted Reproductive Technology, ART. Yes, that is what it is. So, ART bill plugs long-lasting regulatory deficit. बहुत time से deficit था. आपको पता है, there used to be a time जब हमारा country, I don't know, you must be not even born or too young maybe to know this, but our country was a hub. It was the term, I'm not using the term tourism hub was used for a hub for surrogacy in our country. That is, people who were unable to carry a child in the womb would technically hire a womb, pay another woman to carry a child, and because there was so much unemployment in India and it was an easy job that somebody could have done, surrogacy was at a boom in our country. So, of course, after some time, a strict law was passed and this law comes in addition to it. So, let's discuss what it talks about here. But not valid for single parent transgender discrimination then? Yes, Eshan, you're absolutely right. Okay, Sambis, ये class 10 बजे होगी कि नहीं? ये भी बताऊंगी, एक बार आर्टिकल समझ लो, फिर आपके सारे क्वेश्चंस आंसर कर दूंगी, okay? Last week, the Lok Sabha passed the Assisted Reproductive Technology Regulation Bill, ART. Now, what is the bill? It sets standards and codes for conduct for fertility clinics and sperm banks in the country. Because itne sare ho gaye hai sperm banks and fertility clinic, we need a regulation. And this regulation is here because of that. The piece of legislation caters to a long-standing need. We've needed it for really, really long, maybe more than 20 years. Oh yes, it says 20. In the past 20 years, the increase in the number of ART clinics in India has been amongst the highest in the whole world. Jitne clinics yahan aaye, maybe because of the cheaper cost of treatment as compared to the rest of the world, maybe easiness of law, that people always preferred India for having babies artificially. So, amongst the highest in the world, they cater to a burgeoning medical देखो ये tourism word, medical tourism industry इसलिए बोला क्योंकि बाहर से लोग आते हैं for these medical facilities to India. Yes? Okay. So, all right. It has the same story. I have to see that movie then. Okay, I have to see that movie. So, the burgeoning medical tourism industry and significantly to a growing section of the country's population that is turning to ART such as gamete donation, intrauterine dissemination in IVF and all. So, ये basically वो procedures है to have in a layman term, have a child unnaturally here. Because of the declining fertility rate. Now, why is this becoming so popular? Obviously, declining fertility rate. A substantial section of the Indians marrying later than the generation before them and the increasing prominence of single parenthood. Ye sab, according to the author, is reasons for the flourishing of this industry right now. So maybe people getting married later on, or maybe they're deciding to stay single and then become parents as single parents. The use of such technology is bound to grow. At the same time, more than 80% of the clinics in the country are offering ART facilities are reportedly unregistered. Kitna bada risk hai, socho? 80% are yet unregistered. Okay? So, they exclude LGBT. Yes, that is a Shortfall of it. Yes, Ganesh. The ethical as well as safety related issues germane to this regulatory deficit have been a part of the conversation for over 2 decades. 20 सालों से ये चल रहा है कि safety issues क्या regulation है. Nobody knows that. The ICMR did lay down guidelines for the ART clinics in 2005, जिसके through उन्होंने रेगुलेट किया था सरोगेसी आइडिया को. बट दीज प्रोटोकॉल्स डिड नॉट हैव एनी लेजिस्लेटिव बैकिंग. अब लीगल बैकिंग नहीं है तो गाइडलाइंस कौन फॉलो करेगा? लीगल बैकिंग इज नीडेड. उसके लिए बिल इज नीडेड. बिल के लिए पार्लियामेंट में डिस्कशन इज नीडेड. इफ द ART बिल बिकम्स अ लॉ, इट वुड बी इनकम्बेंट ऑन क्लिनिक्स टू इंश्योर दैट कमीशनिंग कपल्स, वुमेन एंड gamete donors are tested according to the established protocols. So सबसे पहली नीड क्या होगी? टेस्टिंग प्रोटोकॉल्स के अकॉर्डिंग होना जरूरी हो जाएगा अगर ये लॉ बन जाता है तो. पहली चीज. दूसरा, इट ऑल्सो प्रोवाइड्स फॉर अ डेटाबेस फॉर ART क्लिनिक्स इन द कंट्री so that everybody who goes through it is registered. In spite of the broad scope of the bill, it would be, however, pertinent to see legislation in the areas as a work in progress. It will demand more sensitivity from lawmakers. Okay, now the author is coming to the negative part. He says the lawmakers need to be sensitive because it's, of course, a sensitive issue from every perspective. So, what is it? Okay. I'll be glad if you stop talking amongst yourselves because otherwise I miss out on the important chats. Okay. So he says we need sensitivity from the lawmakers in dealing with changing social, demographic and medical trends. Medical trends change हो रहा है, social भी हो रहा है. We are more open to LGBTQs. We are more open to trans. We are more open to bisexualism. So the law also needs to be equally open. That is what the suggestion from the author here is. The bill does tick several right boxes in stipulating that the clinic provide counseling about the chances of success. If somebody decides to go through an artificial process of having a child, there are success rates and there are failure rates. It's not a thumb rule ki every time it's going to be successful. So this bill is a welcome one because this will ensure that everybody is counseled with the success rate of this treatment. Everybody knows the cost because these treatments aren't cheap. They are supremely expensive. They are, of course, they have side effects, risks, and multiple pregnancies can also occur. Importantly, it talks of informed consent of donors and legalizes ART procedures for live-in couples and single women. So, देखो, live-in couples को legality मिल रही है, single women को mother बनने की legality मिल रही है. However, now comes the important part. As several members pointed out in the debate in the Lok Sabha, the bill discriminates against the entire queer. And single male parents aren't included in the bill. So yes, that is a drawback of it. It goes against the spirit of the Supreme Court's landmark verdict in Navtej Johar and Union of India and assumes for a formalistic position on the rights of the same-sex couples to raise a family, because the Supreme Court considers every couple, same-sex or binary, as a right to raise a family. This bill goes against that landmark judgment, where it was established that even same-sex couples can raise a family. So, tone of the author here, everyone. Exactly, Rebel, you have absolutely correctly stated the new law. Here, what do you think is the tone of the author? Anyone? Tone? Critical? Okay, Abhinav. Others? Is it not more of an analytical one instead of a critical one? Because he's analyzing the good parts and the bad parts as well. Think of it before marking it critical. Critical is only this part. But he says it, look at the first line of the paragraph. It says it ticks several right boxes. It's an analytical one. Critical is a byproduct of analysis. Good and bad parts are byproducts of analysis. It's an analytical one. Yes? Agreed? Okay, Abhinav? All right. Okay, now let me अच्छा, याद रखना वीडियो के नीचे समरी लिखना है आपको. Now before I share today's Hindu and Indian Express, a couple of things. People who do not know, the entire week this class will be held at 10 a.m. Next week क्या होगा ये हम decide करेंगे with time. Okay, because your schools have already closed and it's getting really cold. A lot of people have been telling me, मैम क्लास का टाइमिंग डिले कर दो. सोचना पड़ेगा. ये वीक तो 10 a.m. हो रहा है because obviously you know I am working out of the office here in the studio, which opens late and the class would start late. This is going to be 10 a.m. for this week. दूसरा, आज 12:30 another test on assumptions and conclusions. If you think you're good at that, see me at 12:30 on our BBA YouTube platform. I'll write this down for you. BBA YouTube by BYJU'S Exam Prep. ये सर्च कर लेना YouTube में, you'll find our channel. सब्सक्राइब करके YouTube पे आ जाना, टेस्ट लेंगे 12:30, डिस्कस करते हैं कितने assumption conclusion आपसे करेक्ट होते हैं. Third thing, now this is it. Tomorrow again the class will be held at 12. God. Here we go. ठीक है? All right. 10 बजे सही है. चलो let me see. देखते हैं आज क्या important article है. Yeah. And the impunity. Oh, गुलशन कल ये आर्टिकल ले लेंगे, ठीक है? बिल्कुल पढ़ लेना, ये आर्टिकल बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, ठीक है? Everyone, please read this in detail. I'm going to take this article tomorrow. Docket full of unresolved constitutional cases, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. I want to see the writer. बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, प्लीज पढ़ लेना इसको. Yeah. Okay, Gautam Bhatia. All right, third article. Skim कर लेना इसको, okay? Skim कर लेना. All right. Next page. Okay. Yes, very important. इसको डिटेल में पढ़ लेना, okay? Very, I love this article. Very important. इसको पढ़ना जरूरी है. Okay. Important. पढ़ लेना इसको, okay? Very important. Very important. Okay? Read this thoroughly. Skip. Skim. In fact, read. Skim. Okay. आज डिसाइड होगा आज फार्मर्स घर जाएंगे कि नहीं जाएंगे, है ना? So skim. Skim. That's all. This you can leave. I'm sorry to say, but you can leave this. That's all. That's all as important ones. Okay. So I hope you've understood the important parts that you need to be reading. इसको please detail में पढ़ लेना. इस article पे questions आ सकते हैं. I have a strong belief. I'm going to see you at 12:30 then with an assumption and conclusion test. on the BBA platform. Have a very, very good day, a very productive day, and hope this day is one of the most productive ones you've ever had in your life, because this looks like one of the most productive days of my life already. I shall see you at 12:30, everyone. Bye and God bless you.